And we are back to talk about more Mandalorian, the most okay show in the galaxy.
Wait, I thought the name of the show was Bounty Hunters Betraying Each Other.
Pretty much. It's pretty much the show.
Once again, that's the plot.
That is,
Bounty
you're not
Hunters
wrong.
betraying each other.
And
you can never have a mission where it doesn't happen.
Right. And to set this up, I heard, I don't know if it was Disney, someone from Disney who said this, but I keep hearing rumors that the reason they put out this episode on Wednesday, 2 days before Rise of Skywalker, is because this is an episode that you had to have watched going into Rise of Skywalker to understand something.
And now you're saying that's bull.
I'm not saying it's bullshit, but what kind of annoys me is that, like, so how do I say this?
In the middle of Rise of Skywalker, Baby Yoda shows up and just starts fucking stuff up, and you're like,
God,
who is
fucking
Baby
wish.
Yoda?
I fucking wish. I fucking wish that was a thing. Spoilers, that's not a thing. But here's what annoys me, right? Is because a lot of these abilities that we see in the new canon, the old canon did, but apparently every time the new canon tries to do it, it's fucking stupid. For example, Mr. Sunday Movies recently came out with a video, the Emperor's First Return, right?
Right, it was the review of Dark Empire, which
Right.
I have to say, Dark Empire, in retrospect, is horrible. I remember when Dark Empire came out, because, everybody's like, oh, it was the first, edgy Star Wars that there had ever been.
Yes.
And everybody was like, oh my God, it's so incredible. Of course, each issue is 3 pages, and it cost $5. And but it was, and at the time, everyone was really excited, but looking back on it, you're like, come on, Palpatine coming back with clones of himself.
Clones, yeah. And the thing is, I didn't think you could clone Force users. But the gist is basically that Luke actually turns the dark side in Dark Empire, and he appears in front of Leia as a projection.
Yeah.
But when that's the old canon, right? This is no longer canon. But when the motherfucker does it in Last Jedi, he fucking dies. What the hell?
Well, he did it over a long distance, and he was old and angry. Who knows?
What the... Luke in Dark Empire also did it over a long distance. Come on, what?
It's two different characters. I mean, I
guess.
comic book first expanded universe Luke was badass, and while canon Luke is angry hobo,
Oh, I will say this.
Jaded about the Force thing.
I will say this, because I've seen the movie already. A buddy of mine who's a Star Wars YouTuber, he hooked me up. But
you saw a sneak preview, because when you posted, I was like, what? He's seen it already?
No, I saw the whole movie.
Yeah. And I was like, I thought it didn't come out. And did you see a sneak preview?
No, I didn't go anywhere. Apparently Disney has these websites, these super secret websites that you can go on. And certain people can watch it that way. Yeah, people who can't make it to the premiere. And the annoying thing about it is that his name is plastered on the fucking screen, and it's kind of annoying. You remember ever downloading that stuff from
you know what'd be funny? What'd be funny if I go to see the movie and his name is plastered all over the screen. I was like, that was just an artistic choice that they
it's
made.
Just a stupid watermark.
I don't know what J.J. Abrams was thinking, but I don't know.
It's just a stupid ass watermark. But no, I saw it, and I gotta say, this is not really spoilers. Obviously, we know Luke is in the film. He was in the trailers. He has the stupidest wig that I just could not get over. The wig he wears in it is so fucking dumb, because I guess Mark Hamill didn't expect to come back for episode 9 because of what happened in 8. So he's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna trim my hair. And they're like, oh, no, we need you again. And he's like, oh, fuck. So he wears a wig, and it's so distracting and stupid, and you can tell it's a wig. It's so bad.
I mean, he kind of looked weird at the end it was his projection, so I guess he chose to project himself looking weird. But yeah, his projection was kind of weird with his dyed hair and everything.
In the last episode of Mandalorian, which we got to get to.
Yeah. We are here to talk about bounty hunters betraying each other.
Right. And the last episode of Bounty Hunters Betraying Each Other, you thought that guy's hair was a wig was really noticeable. Wait till you go to the movies tomorrow and you fucking see this shit. This shit is ridiculous. All right, let's get to Bounty Hunters Betraying Each Other.
Yeah.
And so Mandalorian, he's on his ship. He's about to go to the next episode where nothing happens. And he receives a message from Grief Karga, Carl Weathers. And Grief Karga's town has been overrun by Imperial troops led by the Client, who is desperate to recover the child. Now, we still don't know why they want the child so badly. My theory was that, I guess because we all know that Palpatine comes back in Episode 9, I thought they wanted Baby Yoda because maybe that species is incredibly strong in the Force naturally, and I guess the
clone army of them, yeah.
Maybe a clone army. My theory is that maybe he needs Baby Yoda to give to the Emperor, because maybe the Emperor, in order to stay alive, because he's so old. He's old in Episode 1. So maybe in order to stay alive, he needs to feed off the Force, I guess, or Force users. But what doesn't make any sense is that after the Battle of Jakku, which is a year after Endor, all the known Imperials who are still alive flee into unknown regions. And I believe this takes place 7 years after Endor, so I don't know why this guy is here, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the Imperial client, he wants the child. I don't even think we find out the guy's name. I think we do. Maybe. I forgot. But Karga proposes to the Mandalorian that they use the child as bait in order to kill the client and free the town. In return, Karga will squash things with the Guild, which would allow the Mandalorian and the child to live in peace, instead of living on the run and having to take odd jobs from guys who betray him. Sensing a trap, the Mandalorian recruits Cara Dune on Sorgan. And I like the cool thing that she has going on when we first see her. She's fighting that guy with the belt thing.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty
cool.
Fine,
yeah.
So he recruits her, and this is, once again, that Rick and Morty episode where Rick is recruiting people for a job. And at first she says no. But then when he tells her it's to kill an Imperial, she agrees. And I guess it's because she's kind of bored on Sorgan doing nothing, and she'll take any job if it means killing Imperials.
Yeah.
Then we go back.
It was very Marion Ravenwood, really, from Raiders, where, like, she's betting on a drinking contest, and here she's, like, betting on her own, like, pit fighting, and, then the person from her past comes in. But, yeah, okay. Then so it really, they start going into, let's take as many of the past episodes and try to make them relevant by bringing a character back.
Right. And they go back to the first planet where they found Baby Yoda, and he tries to recruit Queel the Ugnaught to assist him. And apparently Queel has also rebuilt and reprogrammed IG-11, which I think is really cool. And not to mention, I do like the little montage of IG-11 learning to do things again.
Yeah, it was so weird that they could have just had a throwaway line like, I reprogrammed him. But then they went on this, like, long montage of him, like, getting trained and, like, going through, like, rehabilitation for, you're like, oh my gosh, like, this was, like, really significant that he had to rehabilitate this robot. But okay.
I think the reason is, and we'll go into it towards the end, because I think the reason is that the IG-11 unit might end up joining Mando's crew for Season 2, because Season 2 is confirmed. And not to mention, there are Mando, Cara Dune, and IG-11 are always shown on the posters constantly. Yeah. And we thought it was kind of weird how...
that IG-11 was shot in the head at the end of the first episode. And so the minute he came back, I was like, oh, okay, he's back.
He's back. And so apparently on their way to, they recruit Queel, and he wants to, bring also some of the blogs with him as well, and all that stuff. And they go. And
I have spoken,
of course, which is like the new "May the Force will be with you." I like that way better than any other catchphrase we have in this entire show. I like it way better than "This is the way." I have spoken.
Oh yeah.
So on their way to Navarro, which is the Guild planet, the Mando and Cara Dune are doing an arm wrestling thing, and I guess Baby Yoda senses some kind of danger going on here that the Mando might lose.
And he starts force choking? Yeah.
He starts force choking her.
Oh, by the way, so right before doing this, I was playing HQ Trivia with, my wife likes to play HQ Trivia every night, so I'm playing, and it's Star Wars Trivia tonight. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to rock this. I've won HQ Trivia 3 times, and I've won 3 times. 2 times it was Game of Thrones night, and I was just like ridiculously easy, right. for assholes like us. And then I won Back to the Future night. Yeah. So Star Wars, I was like, I know Star Wars pretty well, and so I got out on question. There were something 21 questions tonight, and I got on question like 18 or 19, and it was who did Vader force choke in A New Hope?
Oh, fuck. Even I don't know that motherfucker's name.
Yeah, well, so the choices were Grand Moff Tarkin, which obviously not.
Right.
And then it was General somebody, and then it was Admiral Mahdi. And I was
Mahdi. It's Mahdi.
Right, but I sat there and was like, why is an admiral on a battle station? And so I put the general, and I didn't get it, but it was Admiral Mahdi. And so,
it was Mahdi. Now I remember. Yeah, because I didn't even think they had like a toy of Admiral Mahdi being choked.
Yeah, so that was the big shame. Big shame. My wife was so disappointed.
Shame.
She's like,
shame.
Why? What did I marry a dork for if I can't win HQ trivia with you?
You're lucky it wasn't Harry Potter night. She mopped the floor with you, bro.
It's true. Though no, Harry Potter nights have happened, and she has not won.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, we've only the two of us have only won HQ trivia. Well, they also have one called HQ Words. We won that one, but we won. We've only won 3 times. 2 times for Game of Thrones, once for Back to the Future.
There you go. Do we win money for this, by the way?
Yeah, but it's divided up. Actually, tonight, so it's usually just pennies and cents. So like for Game of Thrones, like I won like $2 or something, and then another $2. So like all of our winnings for playing this, like we've been playing trivia like nearly every day for like a year. We have like $9. But tonight, Star Wars trivia, it was $3 per person because they take a pool and then they divide it by the winners. Mm-hmm. So it was like 100,000 people began, and then 300 people won for $1,000. So it was like everybody got like $3.30.
You know, that's been and Preston will back me up on this. That's been something I've been wanting to do for a long time. Take a random person from the audience and then like bring them on the podcast with us and have you just quiz them on Game of Thrones.
We'll have our own Game of Thrones game show. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Game of Thrones game show. I would love it. I really want to do something like that. We got to set it up. But the problem is that like when you have the person needs to have like a Skype or Discord, and it's like a whole thing, and then like people's microphones are shit, and you're like, oh god, here we go. And then like everybody in the comment section is going, why'd you guys pick someone with shitty microphone? I'm like, guys, come on.
Yeah. Also, like there were some difficult ones that I had to guess on, like that had to do with actors. You know, and you're like, behind the scenes stuff. Like, like the Ian McGregor is the nephew of the actor that plays what character?
Wedge Antilles.
They say, yeah, good one, good job.
I don't know the actor's name who plays Wedge Antilles. I don't think anybody else does, but still,
but you remember the random thing. Anyway, how did we get off Mando? How did we get off bounty hunters betraying each other?
So Baby Yoda force chokes him, and everybody still doesn't know what I've heard rumors about this power. Apparently, you were in the Empire for 3 of Cara Dune's lifetime, so. You were in the you were in the Old Republic as well, like because he says 3 of her lifetimes. So I don't.
Oh god, have you ever read? Do you know about Cody Johnston and Even More News?
No, I do not.
Some More News. He does this angry news podcast, and he did one. You'll love it. It's like 45 fucking minutes, and it's him doing, but it's rather than him doing like regular news, it's him doing news for. The Star Wars universe, but he's an anchor person for every movie, and and it's incredible because he's just like, hey guys, did you know that slavery still exists in the Republic? You know, these Jedis that are going around that are supposed to be all good, they should really be stopping slavery. You know, like. But anyway. He gets to like the Force Awakens time, and he's like, yeah. Weirdly, there's all these people that believe that the Jedi are myth. Like, really, the Jedi, who were just like a thing like 20 years ago, are now... And he's like, this is becoming a popular belief in the universe, in the galaxy. Like,
well, here's the thing. The thing I'm struggling to understand is because they switched up the canon now. I know for a fact that Luke was in the rebellion. Everybody knew about Luke being in the rebellion, I believe. Yeah. But other than using his lightsabers, I don't know whether or not he used his Force abilities. Because if you recall, Luke in Empire didn't use it that much. He was still kind of a novice at it. And you kind of see that he's still kind of learning to use it when he gets trapped by the Wampa in the ice caves. But in Return of the Jedi, which I believe is like maybe 6 months to a year between Empire and Jedi... he kind of uses it, but sparingly and very low key. Like when he chokes that fucker in Jabba's palace, you barely see it. And then when he's lifting 3PO up, like once again, kind of low key.
Only Ewoks are gonna see it.
Right. So I don't.
I guess did he tell people in the Rebel Alliance like I actually used the Force to guide my fucking missile into that hole?
I wouldn't use that. I would just say that's fucking skill and have everybody just like celebrate me. I wouldn't. What the fuck?
I mean, obviously the Wampa didn't tell anybody after he had his arm cut off, and I guess when he was hanging on that TV antenna, like nobody really saw him fighting Darth Vader. Some people at Jabba's palace that didn't go to the barge might have seen him use his Jedi mind trick on somebody. I don't know.
Maybe. Like, do people even know all the Jedi abilities? Because as far as anybody knows, the Jedi just have, like, laser swords, and they can, like, negotiate really well. Little does everybody know it's mind tricks, but, like, But anyways, so Cara Dune, I guess she wasn't aware of what it is either. And nobody knows what it is. No, this creature, I'm assuming our bad guys
This was like a brain trust of dudes sitting around and, like, don't know what this thing is. Don't know. Total mystery.
So they land in Navarro, and upon arrival, they meet Karga and his associates. But en route to the town, they are attacked by Minox. Apparently, those large dragon-looking things are Minox, which...
They didn't look like Minox at all.
No?
Because Minox, weren't Minox... didn't they have the big suctions on the end on their mouths that you see in the window on the Millennium Falcon and Empire Strikes Back? You see those suction things.
Were those Minox? I don't think those were Minox, bro. I think those were just random worm things.
I mean...
Oh, wait, no, you're right. You're right. They were Minox. Oh, well, the Wikipedia here says Minox, so I don't fucking know. Wow, I don't know. Wait a minute. Hold on. Is it here? Is it... No, wow, okay. Weird. Huh.
I don't know. They didn't look like Minox to me.
Well, the Wikipedia thing here says Minox, and as we all know, Wikipedia never lies.
Yeah.
But during the attack at night, Karga is injured, but the child uses the Force to heal his wound. In return, once they're arriving at the town, Karga shoots both of his associates and explains that the original plan was to kill the Mandalorian and take the child to the client. However, they formulate a new plan. Karga will pretend that Dune captured the Mandalorian, and all three will enter the town to meet the client and kill him that way. Mm-hmm. So they enter the town, and they come across a couple of scout troopers. And I love how the scout troopers are just so like, ugh, whatever. Hey, I'll give you cash for that guy's helmet. And I don't know, I just like that. But so they go in, and they meet the client, but the problem is that because the plan has changed, the Mando wants Quill to return the child back to the ship. And they get to the meeting, and the client receives a call from Moff Gideon, whose troops surround the building and open fire, killing the client. And Gideon arrives on his cool-looking tie, and he says that the child will soon be in his possession. In the desert outside of the town, scout troopers track and seemingly kill Qui and take the child, ending the episode on a nice little cliffhanger.
Yeah. Now, so if we go back to... you know how some dude with a cape and boots like walked up in the desert on our Tatooine episode? Mm-hmm. I thought when I said it's probably that Breaking Bad guy, because we knew that the Breaking Bad guy was going to be in a later episode. Now he's arrived, and it turns out he's Moff. What's his face?
Gideon.
Moff Gideon. So there doesn't seem. So now I'm wondering who the hell was the guy with the boots and the cape back on Tatooine. Boba
It
Fett?
could still be Moff Gideon. We still have one more episode, and he could reveal that perhaps he was the one who was behind that assassin, or wanted to recruit that assassin to actually go after the Mandalorian before the Mandalorian got to her first. So that could be a thing. But once again, I believe this series takes place several years after, once again, Endor. And remember, Endor happens, a year afterwards, the Battle of Jakku happens that really just cripples the Imperial remnant. And after the Battle of Jakku, several Imperials retreat into unknown region, and they start to form the First Order in unknown regions. I believe this takes place several years after the Battle of Jakku as well. So I think the Imperials who are left are either just losers, or maybe they're just here to kind of either scout out what the New Republic is doing, or maybe capture Force sensitives. Because as we all know, the Emperor is back in Rise of Skywalker. And I think the reason why they're so invested in Baby Yoda is because they want Baby Yoda to give back to the Emperor so he can keep living. Because there's no way this motherfucker is this, like... there's no way he could be immortal. And we've seen immortal Sith before in the original canon. Darth Vivite from the Old Republic video game. Darth Nihilus, I think.
There's some legend with Darth Bane as well.
I think so. I don't know Darth Bane as much because I never really... did I ever read the Bane trilogy? I don't think so. But I know Darth Nihilus and Darth Nihilus' boyfriend, the guy with the cracks all over him with the green skin. I think he was also immortal. That's from the Old Republic video games from like the early 2000s. But regardless, we've seen Sith live a long time, but I don't know if they rewrote the canon to where like they had to absorb the essence of Force users. So, yes. First off, I gotta say, as cool as this episode was, I still can't give it above a 7.5, Preston. I still can't.
I do think it might be the best episode. Again,
so far.
But it's not, but yeah, because, well, one, I appreciate the fact that we're finally bringing some continuity. We're finally bringing some arc, you know? So I like the fact that these other characters are brought back. I also like that there are some stakes. We actually had a character die.
Yes.
You know?
When Kui dies, I mean, come on. That I don't know if he is dead, but I think that's why IG-11 will join Mando, because the whole time Mando doesn't want the IG-11 unit with him on the planet when the plan goes down. So I think IG-11 sees his master die.
But it's like this is a piece of that gets to like continue.
What'd you call him?
I called him.
No, it's Queel. It's Queel.
It's not Queel. It's not.
It's not. No, Jesus Christ. No, it's not. I think I might have to censor that. I don't know how YouTube feels about that word. I think I might have to censor that.
I don't know if they can recognize it. We'll see.
Well, no, we won't fucking see. I'm censoring that. But so I love Moff Gideon. Giancarlo Esposito is fucking awesome. I love that actor. But his TIE fighter is so ridiculous. Like, TIE fighters normally just come in and just land and that's it. Their wings don't like fold like that.
Yeah.
It seems like it takes up way more space.
That's where somebody comes in and be like, that's because it's a TIE, version A16, you know? You didn't read the technical manual?
I didn't think TIE fighters... I still don't think TIE fighters can do that. So it's probably just a specialized TIE that has S-foils like the X-Wings do.
You know how they retcon the abilities of these ships every movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like X-Wings didn't have warp speed, and then all of a sudden, Return of the Jedi, they have light speed. You know, like
warp speed and light speed. My God.
Whatever. It's they can put on their special lighty stuff.
Well, to be fair, even TIE fighters in the First Order don't have the ability to go ludicrous speed, but Kylo Ren's TIE fighter has the ability to do it because it's a specialized TIE fighter. It's the TIE Silencer. But
there's the whole joke. Like, I mean, in the original movie, it's like the big ships have the ability to go to hyperspace, and the small ships don't. But then all of a sudden, they want Luke to be able to fly in his X-wing to the Dagobah system or something, and so they pop him in. I guess his ship all of a sudden has the ability to go. And then you see a whole bunch of them going to hyperspace in Return of the Jedi. But
so I think the way it works is all the Rebel ships have light speed capabilities, light speed hyperdrive, and the TIE fighters don't because they're mass produced, and the hyperdrives are way too expensive. So, not to mention, I also don't think they have to have life support systems.
Because why would the Empire, with all of their money, have it? Well, the Rebels. The Rebels, the ragtag group, of course, all of their ships have a hyperdrive,
But let's be honest, like one X-wing.
They didn't even put it on frickin' Darth Vader's ship, Like Darth Vader's TIE fighter didn't have it. He had to fly back, crap in his suit for like weeks or whatever.
Darth Vader's TIE fighter might have had, but I don't know. I'll have to check if they added that crap. But no, for every I think one X-wing is worth like 3 or 4 TIE fighters in both cost and I think like power, because X-wings are just fucking awesome.
Again, like this is what gets me, is that in A New Hope, the TIE fighter and the X-wing are pretty much evenly matched. Mm-hmm. And then there's a scene in Return of the Jedi where you see an X-wing go boom, 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 3 TIE fighters in a row. Mm-hmm. And you're like, what happened? You know?
There's even a series like TIE Fighter versus X-Wing or something like that I've never got a chance to play. That's supposed to be awesome. But I love the rivalry between the two. Regardless, this fucking guy is the man. They even have the toy. I remember seeing like this toy like on eBay, the Stormtrooper transport toy.
Oh, really?
You don't remember that transport toy? The one where the Stormtroopers come out of in the episode?
No, I don't.
And Moff Gideon, he ain't fucking around. His stormtroopers are all clean and nice and white and shiny and shit. And fucking the client stormtroopers, they're all like raggedy and whatnot.
They're all like yellow and dusty, you know.
So wherever Moff Gideon is coming from, like his guy, the Empire still holds, much command and respect there. He also has
or he has like some bleach and some Ajax and like some steel wool, and they can fucking clean their stormtroopers off.
You're ridiculous.
Well, on what's the name of the planet? Navarro. Yeah, they don't have any Ajax and like steel wool, and they can't keep the stormtrooper outfits like looking nice. So,
or maybe that. But he also has a squad of Death Troopers with him as well, and Death Troopers they don't.
Yeah, the Death Troopers did look good. Yeah, they looked pretty cool.
So yeah, they killed the client, unfortunately, and I really like Werner Herzog's character. I really love his voice. His voice is awesome.
It's true, and I do like that little scene where he's like, "Are things better? Now that the Empire's fallen." You're like, "Ah, good point.
He also mentions how Mandalore. He goes, "Why did Mandalore resist?" That actually happened in Star Wars Rebels, where one of the crew of the Ghost comes in and Sabine, she's a Mandalorian who likes to graffiti shit, and she comes in and she rallies a lot of the Mandalorians to her side, and I guess they revolt, and which is interesting because actually, you know what? I'm being way too nerdy right now because I was going to mention something that happens in the episode that has nothing to do with this. But no, Werner Herzog's character, he mentions, why did Mandalore resist? The Empire keeps peace, and which is true. You kind of do see this in Star Wars Aftermath, the first Aftermath book, where people are just kind of annoyed. Like, the Empire did keep the peace. They did keep people fed, in a sense, in a lot of worlds. So, even though they were assholes on other worlds, on a good chunk of those worlds, they did keep the peace. They did keep people fed. And now the New Republic is struggling to do
the whole
this.
Mussolini, like, at least the trains ran on time excuse, yeah.
Right. So, I still can't give this episode a butt of a 7.5. It was not a bad episode, but I'm still not wowed. The ending was awesome. And I guess the beginning where he's recruiting people are awesome. Everything in the middle was kind of eh.
Well, in the middle, there's just kind of a lot of talking, They're walking along this field, and they go camping, and, the dragons come down, and that's about it. I don't know. So, yeah, it does. Everything still seems to be set up, Like I feel like with this I still feel this is like episode 2 or episode 3, like story-wise. Like nothing seems to have progressed. Like finally we get a little progression, but which is why like it's episode 2 or 3. But it doesn't feel. Yeah, things still feel slow. But this is at least picked up compared to the previous episodic ones.
It's a $100 million show about almost nothing. It's about guy going on jobs and bounty hunters betraying each other, essentially.
Yeah.
It's almost like Cops, but in Star Wars.
But you've seen the Cops Star Wars thing, right?
Yeah, I have. Troops, I think it was.
Troops.
But once again, episode not bad. I've really been waiting for Moff Gideon, and it's a shame that he's probably going to die next episode. I don't know. I haven't seen leaks or spoilers for it. But I'm assuming he will. If he doesn't, fucking fantastic. I love Giancarlo Esposito. He's friggin' awesome. But I don't know. This is the bad guy I've been waiting for. He does give off a nice impression. I do expect a lot of the Moffs to be like essentially SS troops that you see in fiction all the time. You've seen Inglourious Basterds, right?
Yeah.
Hans Landa, I think it was, played by oh god, that's gonna kill me. Let me look this up real quick. I'm like you now. Inglourious Basterds. Whenever you always get mad when you can't remember something, it's on the tip of your you gotta look it up. It was Christoph Waltz. That's how I imagine a lot of the Moffs to be like Christoph Waltz in Inglourious Basterds. And he puts out a nice impression.
having no allegiance to anyone and being quite like funny and charming.
Well, not quite like that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Once again, episode was okay. I just found it weird that they released it on Wednesday. But once again, they were supposed to have they wanted to release it so everybody sees that this is a thing going into Rise of Skywalker. But like we were discussing, like Dark Empire, as previous Star Wars canon has shown off like certain abilities, and the new canon hasn't handled it well. I don't care what you say of how old Luke was, Hobo Luke should project himself to Crate and be fine afterwards. I firmly believe that the reason they killed off Luke in Last Jedi is mainly because Mark Hamill just kept opening his fucking mouth and saying dumbass things before they started filming Last Jedi. And not to mention, have you ever seen the video of the Last Jedi premiere where it's Mark Hamill and Rian Johnson, and Mark Hamill has this look of shock on his face, like he just can't believe what he just saw, and he looks at Rian Johnson like he's about to kill him. Have you ever seen that?
No.
You gotta see this video. It's literally... Like, I was almost afraid that he was going to choke Rian Johnson right there on the spot, because what I think actually happened is that Rian Johnson probably told Mark Hamill, don't worry about your character, Luke is fine, Luke is alive in the next one, and he killed him off and they never told him, and he just found out in the movie.
I mean, I think Mark Hamill it's interesting. I've seen a lot of interviews with him when he was very young, like during Star Wars. And interviews with him much later on, and he's fundamentally the same guy his whole life. I mean, obviously, maybe we all are fundamentally who we are our whole lives, but he is very non-diplomatic person. Like he just kind of says whatever he wants.
Right.
I mean, he's good-natured, so he's not mean. Like some people, when they're like, "Oh, he says what he wants," and they really mean like that person's an asshole. Like no, like he's a good person. He's a good-natured person, but he doesn't. He just kind of says what's on the what he's thinking, what's on the tip of his tongue, while other people are more guarded about what they say. And so Mark Hamill, he kind of says stuff, and then later he has to kind of apologize and clarify stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what he thinks, because I've seen stuff where he says, well, I fundamentally disagreed with what Rian Johnson did, but then he says, but I came around to the idea. I think it was okay.
No, he's saying that just because he wants that paycheck. So his lawyer called him up and said, hey, Mark, quit being an asshole. Let me show you this real quick, all right? I'm going to timestamp it for you. I need to show you this. For the audience who want to know what the fuck I'm talking about, the name of the video, I sent to you on Facebook. The name of the video is The Last Jedi, Sad Mark Hamill. It's 1 minute and 22 seconds.
But what's funny, of all the things in Last Jedi that I have a problem with, I don't think the way Mark Hamill was handled was bad. He seemed very angry about it. But when I think of like what was bad about Last Jedi, in my opinion, the fact that they did nothing interesting with Rey, like they set up this really cool relationship, this really creepy thing going on with her and Kylo Ren, and then all of a sudden she just leaves and is at the battle, like flying the Millennium Falcon, going, yeah, like this, woo! And you're like, what? Like you had this really cool thing happen, and then all of a sudden you're just back with the Rebel Alliance, and it doesn't matter, like that kind of the stuff pissed me off. Like when I like all the scenes with Mark Hamill, I thought were pretty good. Like I believed his bitter angriness with the Force, and like how, it's true, the Jedi shouldn't be this elite group that owns the Force. The Force should belong to everybody. That makes sense. Like there's reasons for him to be angry, I all that makes sense to me. So I don't know.
I just didn't like the fact that he dies in Last Jedi. I go on Facebook. I sent you that video. Just mute yourself. Yeah. Just mute the video. I sent you. You can, by the way, for those of you who want to go see the video, once again, it's The Last Jedi, sad Mark Hamill. You can see me in the comments section. I put 2 timestamps in there. Click the link I just sent you and. Okay. Look at his face. Look at his face.
Oh my God!
Right now,
that's so Mark Hamill.
Okay, now skip to 1 minute and 14 seconds. Look at the face he gives this motherfucker. Skip to see what I mean. Look at it.
It's just incredible.
Do you see the way he's looking at Rian Johnson?
Oh my God.
The way he's looking at Rian Johnson is like he wants to kill Rian. I think they did him dirty. Because he opened his mouth and he said a bunch of shit. Like he even criticized, low-key criticized, Jar Jar Abrams, which is actual YouTuber, has videos of this. Like he even criticizes Disney a little bit and about being all about the money.
Okay, I will grant that like the only way that could happen, I don't think that they could have killed him without him knowing. But I think there might have been quite a few extra scenes that didn't make the final cut.
I think they killed him without him knowing. I think they only told him either 2 minutes before the premiere or he found out at the premiere when he saw the movie for the first time. There is no way or either that or they show
like you thought he filmed the scene where he's like wakes up and he's like and then that was going to be the end and then they just kind of like faded him out with the Force ghost and he was like, what?
Yes.
I didn't know they were going to do that.
What I think happened was when he went, because all the actors see the movie like after editing after editing.
Yeah.
And I think he saw the movie and the cut that he saw, he lives. And when he left the room, they went back and re-edited it to where he would fade away. And yeah, I think that's what they did. And he was expecting his character to go into episode 9 just fine. Because once again, we have seen thousands of times in the original expanded universe canons, novels, comics, even video games, where characters force project themselves across the galaxy and are just fine. But here, he does it and boom. You could argue that because he's so old, he wasn't old in Dark Empire as he is here, that maybe putting that much force ability and power out there took a toll on him. He's older and he cut himself off from the force. And all of a sudden reactivates it just like that.
Here's the thing is he projects himself in Empire Strikes Back.
He does?
I mean, not visually.
Oh, right.
Auditorily,
right.
He projects himself to Leia.
But on the same planet.
Now, they're on the same planet. But then later on, Vader projects... I guess they're still not that far from each other, but Vader then projects to Luke when they're in the getaway. You know, flying away and I guess they'd already gotten to hyperspace at that point, but so I mean Vader does it and doesn't die, but that's all, you know, in a sense you're projecting yourself.
And before someone in the comments section says that yes, there's actually a deleted scene from Return of the Jedi at the very beginning where Luke is constructing his lightsaber, where Vader calls out to Luke again, and Vader is like somewhere else in the galaxy and Luke is on Tatooine. And yeah, he's constructing his lightsaber, but at the same time, we all know that Anakin is incredibly strong in the Force. So I don't think Luke is that as powerful.
But you are correct. I mean, in my opinion, you're correct that it doesn't seem that difficult when you're talking about all of the things that are magical and difficult, right? You know, making an image of yourself somewhere else doesn't seem like something that would cause you to have a heart attack and die. Mm-hmm. You know, like what. I know that's based on nothing, but it just doesn't seem that big. Like I feel like projecting yourself across the universe in order to prevent a planet from exploding, that might kill you, you know, or like something really difficult. But yeah, just projecting like an image of yourself doesn't seem that hard.
Preston, what would you give Mandalorian? A scale from 1 to 10? I would give it a 7.5. Still not above it.
I give it 7.5, something like that. Mm-hmm. It was this episode had me, you know, it had me it had my attention the most. I finally I liked the fact that they brought characters back. I thought IG-11 was funny. Mm-hmm. The few lines they gave him. I thought Cara Dune. What's that? Yeah, T. Yeah, I thought Cara Dune was great.
Oh yeah, she's awesome.
I was actually sitting there going, huh? You know, considering that she's not a professional actor, she's doing a pretty good job in all of her scenes. I think she's great. Yeah, I thought the battle scene, I thought the tension, I liked the villains. Everything held together. It was a great episode. But yeah, it wasn't anything that just wowed me. It's not like I'm getting punched emotionally going, oh God. You know, I'm not learning about the human condition.
The first half is good. The last leg of the episode was also awesome as well. Everything in the middle was I was just waiting for Moff Gideon to show up. I was just waiting for them to go back to Werner Herzog, because I keep the one thing I didn't realize about a Star Wars show is how much I would miss like stormtroopers and like, you know, TIE fighters and X-wings and stuff like that. While I enjoy like the bounty hunting stuff, it's cool, but could I enjoy a whole show of it? I have my answer, kinda.
I was thinking a lot about whether like what was missing from the Mandalorian, and because I was having this argument about Watchmen, and the question of themes came up.
Thieves?
And it's like themes, you know,
themes.
like so themes, yeah. So essentially with any piece of like fiction, there's this idea that often there's a theme, meaning that action means more than just what's going on with the characters.
Right.
So, you know, John enters a room. If there's a theme, it means that there's more than just John entering a room. You know, it symbolizes something. There's some sort of message going on with it, right? And so Watchmen, they've crammed so many themes at once into it. You know, you're watching an episode, and yes, there's people trying to rule the world, but you've got religious themes, you've got political themes, you've got social themes all going on at the same time, and it's just filled with it. And even Star Wars has a lot of themes going on, especially with regards to like politics and war and these sorts of things and what they mean. And certainly The Last Jedi shoved in a bunch of themes about equality in the galaxy and I don't know, the Force being exclusive and what that meant, and it being, you know, the people's revolt kind of idea. Then I was saying, going to Mandalorian, I was like, does Mandalorian have a theme? Like, does anything that happens on screen mean more than what's happening on the screen?
I guess.
Because even
really.
with like the original Star Wars, like there's definitely stuff in there about Vietnam,
right?
And George Lucas is making a statement about war, because war is generally political and, you know, things like this. Does the Mandalorian mean anything? Like what as an artist is Jon Favreau trying to say about the human condition with the Mandalorian?
But at the same time, does it have to mean anything? Can it just be like a kick-ass spaghetti western?
Right. It can, but it's just very funny that an art form would not have a theme. Mm-hmm. Like it's very strange that art doesn't try to say more than what it is, you know?
Yeah.
Like even Sesame Street, like there's an educational theme going on above Cookie Monster doing something, you know, like like when Cookie Monster is saying like, oh, I learned about the letter C, like the theme is like, yes, Cookie Monster's learning about the letter C, but we really want the audience to learn about the letter C.
Right.
You know, like what is the Mandalorian trying to say?
I don't know.
You know?
I don't know. What is the Mandalorian trying to say? Besides, this is the way. Yeah, I
don't know. Like at least with Game of Thrones, like you knew that like, okay, this is an anti-war narrative, and there's a lot of statements about feminism in there and things like that, and I just don't know what the Mandalorian is. It's really, when you say like people are doing stuff on screen, does it mean anything more than what the people are doing on screen? I don't know.
The theme could have been identity because, and we get close to it in episode 4 when Mando and the widow in the village, they're talking about like, you know, the culture and whatnot and taking off the helmet and all that stuff. The whole theme of the entire show could have been identity, but not really, because you never really see him. He doesn't really go into much detail about his background. We see flashbacks here and there and that little tidbit of conversation about what Mandalorians are and about who he is, blah, 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 blah. But no, it kind of misses the mark on theme.
Like identity, fatherhood, like parents.
Right.
Like he is an orphan and then he's picking up Yoda. Are they making some sort of comment about that? What does it mean to live by a code, perhaps? What do you guys think? What you think the Mandalorian theme? Put it in the comments.
That's Preston's attempt to be a generic YouTuber.
But that's the... I think we might be pinning down why Mandalorian's been feeling a little vacant.
Right.
Is that it doesn't really have a theme.
I can't wait till you watch Rise of Skywalker. We're gonna do Rise of Skywalker podcast, right?
We are. I just gotta figure out. I gotta have someone take care of the baby.
Oh, that's right.
Gotta have somebody take care of Baby Yoda. Mm-hmm. Well, see, it's so easy with the Mando. He just leaves the ship and locks the door. Freaking Baby Yoda is fine. I have to sit there and be like, fuck, who's going to feed him in 2 hours?
By the way, some people have a theory that Baby Yoda, because if a Jedi is strong enough in the Force, they can see the future. And this is actually somewhat of a rare trait, actually. Jedi Master Sifo-Dyas, who we hear about for the first time in episode 2, was a Jedi who actually had the ability to actually view the future through the Force. Not every Jedi has this ability. Some do. Anakin did, and Master Sifo-Dyas did as well.
Yeah.
Maybe Baby Yoda...
Of course, Anakin only seems to use it for pod racing, though. So.
Right. And for Padme as well. However, maybe Baby Yoda can see the future, because at one point in the episode, they're all downstairs talking, and then all of a sudden the ship is rocking back and forth, and that's Baby Yoda fucking with the controls. The theory here is that maybe Baby Yoda saw the future, that either he was going to die, or maybe Mando or someone on the crew was going to die, and he was trying to stop the whole trip.
Some heavy theories for
Mandalorian.
For Mandalorian.
It's no Dornish master plan, but it's something.
No, yeah, that's true.
Can't wait till you see Rise of Skywalker. In my personal opinion, the only people who will ever really get anything out of this film are those fledgling YouTubers who fucking get their rocks off and their channels increased in subscribe numbers by trashing it. Because there have been YouTubers, bro, in the last 2 years who went from like 5 subscribers to 500,000 subscribers just by trashing Last Jedi. I'm not even kidding with you.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's how to make a living. Just be like, those SJWs ruining Last Skywalker. This is atrocious. This is the end of the world.
Here's a minor spoiler, by the way. Not even a minor spoiler. You get your first lesbian kiss in this movie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, blink and you'll miss.
Well, I mean, so it's like the second kiss that's ever been in Star Wars. I'm trying to think. It's such a sexless world. It's such a, like, there's so little romance and sex.
Let's just say this is probably the third kiss ever in Star Wars. It's actually towards the very end. There's a nice lesbian kiss, but it's a blink and you'll miss it type of thing.
Okay.
And it might not have been a lesbian kiss. It might have been a dude with like really long curly hair. I wasn't paying attention that much. And I will say though, the Rise of Skywalker also has one of the coolest planets I've ever seen in Star Wars. No joke. There's a really cool planet in the entire. We'll discuss it when you watch it. But honestly, I feel as though Rise of Skywalker is going to be heavily debated. People are going to heavily debate Rise of Skywalker, not for the reasons you think. The debate will be basically, what was worse, Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker? That'll be the main debates going forward, whether or not which movie was more worse.
So which movie was worse?
I think Rise of Skywalker is atrocious. At least Last Jedi. At least Last Jedi tries to do a subversion of expectations, and it fails at it. Red Letter Media had a great skit where Rich Evans... did you see Red Letter Media's last...
I did.
Where Rich Evans has the champagne bottle and or the wine bottle, and he moves the cup away and is like... Remember that?
Yeah.
So
yes, I do.
That's essentially sums up Last Jedi, and but at least Last Jedi tried to do something different. Rian Johnson tried to do something different, whereas Rise of Skywalker is nonstop. Remember this? You like this thing, huh? Well, here's more of it. That's essentially what the entire film is.
Yeah. I mean, I think Rise of Skywalker is one of these things where he was very focused on the theme, and I think the theme was very good. It's just that he didn't execute various scenes and plot lines very well. I mean, I think we can all say that the Finn Rose plot line was just not executed very well.
Oh God, no! Canto Bight was trash.
Yeah, and but overall, like, you kind of see what I can see what he was trying to do. I don't know if he executed it very well, but I do think that I personally think Rise of Skywalker is a better movie than Force Awakens.
You haven't seen Rise of Skywalker yet. How can you say it's a...
I mean, I'm sorry. Last Jedi.
I was about to say, you haven't seen it yet.
I have not seen Rise of Skywalker. I can't imagine it being any good, just because it's how good can a ninth movie in a series be.
Oh, by the way,
I don't know.
So a buddy of mine who's a Star Wars fan, and he goes, he just tweeted out, I did not love that. It was fine. And I'm sitting here going, bro, come on. And I will say this. I have a couple of Star Wars YouTubers who are friends of mine. And there is one guy who, he has seen it as well. And I asked him, did you like it? He goes, oh, God, no, that was trash. I'm like, oh, you going to say that in your video? He goes, fuck no, I'm not going to say that in my video. I go, what are you going to say? He goes, I'm going to say it was fine. I'm like, what? Why are you going to say that? He goes, come on, man, because, I'm on the list. And I'm like, oh, that's right. Some YouTubers are on lists for special goodies from companies. A lot of those... the
thing Red Letter Media constantly talks about.
Right, that's actually true. This Star Wars YouTuber that I know, I'm not going to say this person's name, but they get goodie bags. Like, they're on lists for books, they're on lists for games, they got invited to a couple of development of some games a while back, like, and, they have, like, exclusive stuff sent to them. And, they firmly believe it's because they never trash Star Wars. They're just a Star Wars channel who's very neutral and gray in their opinions. And I'm wondering, that makes sense. That's why me and Preston never get invited to any Game of Thrones shit, because fucking Preston's always trashing Game of Thrones.
Oh God.
All right, Preston, let's wrap this up. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We will be back for Star Wars next week with the last episode of The Mandalorian, and in a couple of days, maybe, with the Rise of Skywalker review podcast thingy, where Preston will be very depressed. Seriously, I'm actually curious to see if you'd actually like the movie. I don't think you will, but you can...
I doubt it. I don't know how I could. I mean, and I'm just saying, like, looking at the plot threads, I don't see how they could possibly come together in a satisfying way. And I also know J.J. Abrams' like movie style from The Force Awakens, so I just can't see it working out.
We'll discuss it when you watch it, but I will say, I'm someone who I'm not like a Michael Bay fan. Like, I don't need like explosions and blah, blah, like happening every 2 seconds.
Right, but you kind of know that you're not going to like a Michael Bay movie when you see it.
I mean, I guess.
Because I've seen a fuckload of Michael Bay movies, sadly. I've seen Bad Boys. I've seen fucking Bad Boys 2. I've seen Armageddon. I've seen Transformers 1. I've seen Transformers 2. I get the fucking gist,
right?
Okay? I know that when a Michael Bay movie comes out, what it's going to be and how it's going to, it's just not going to be good. Like, man, I mean, I could be surprised, all of a sudden.
This film feels very Michael Bay-ish at times because the pacing is super, like characters will be having important characters will be having a conversation, and then it just quickly jumps to like this really other thing that's also like, oh, very urgent, blah, 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 blah. Like the movie starts off very urgent, and then like everybody's just walking very fast all the time, and it's like, guys, slow down a little bit. Fuck, it's just, let me catch my breath. Holy shit. And it's almost,
we gotta get this all
it's
in.
almost as though like they had to cram several ideas from past movies all into this one, and they kept saying, well, Palpatine was the bad guy the entire time. I don't believe that for a fucking second, because there is no way. There is the like the you'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean. There is they lie a lot about this fucking trilogy. They lie a lot about it. But for once, it's not the SJW's fault. For once, it's not females who are the problem or people of color. It's JJ's inability to do something different.
Because you know. The one thing I've learned is, you know, geez, if The Last Jedi just had nothing but white men in it, it would have been a fucking perfect
It would have been a 10 out of 10.
That would have solved everything. Had Finn and Rose been two white guys going on that plot to the casino, oh man, it would have been, that would have just
100% on Rotten Tomatoes automatically.
100%. And had that Captain Marvel movie just been like a white dude?
Actually, Brie Larson recently did a thing on Jimmy Kimmel where I think she substituted for him, and she had a nice plot, if you know what I mean. And I forgive her for Captain Marvel after that episode of Jimmy Kimmel.
I think, first of all, Brie Larson she's so deadpan, and her humor style is so fucking deadpan. I think it's hilarious, but other people, there's so many YouTube videos out there about how like, she's got the most unlikable, like, look how bitchy she is. And you're like, dude, she's doing the most sarcastic deadpan, like, humor. Like, do you not see it? And it's, I don't know. Like, I think she's fucking hilarious.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, God.
All right, we got on for too long. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.